evening and welcome back to another episode of Mary's Book Club. Today we're going to be reviewing The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Alex Michaelides, like that's the accent that I want to say it in. I don't quite know how accurate I am. Anyway, I'm back again with another fiction, and let me just say, guys, I'm living for it. This current month, spoiler alert, I'm currently reading. I started off reading a nonfiction book. And let's just say that wasn't going too well. And just last night, I kind of gave up on it. I was like, let me just start something else. And the first page already of my fiction book, the one that's coming next, I was already like glued in. So I think it's safe to say that I'm really making a serious, more permanent transition. Nevertheless, the gist of the book is about a prominent artist who loses her husband, who is a pretty popular photographer. He's quite mainstream. He's shot for like Elle and Vogue and all of them. And so the both of them are a very good couple. They're happy for the most part, as far as we know. But then she loses him and then goes mute for a pretty good majority of the book, right? And we don't know why. That is literally the cliffhanger. That is literally the big suspense of the book. And anyhow, I chose to read this book because, again, I believe I saw it in a video, Renee Amberg, shout out to her. And I think I also saw it in like somewhere like on the review. I was reading a review of some book on Goodreads, and then I think this one also came up. And I think it was like the way that he responded, he being the author, to the comments and things about the book. And then I went to his profile and I saw his little write-up, and I saw like his like brief bio and things, and I was just like, you know what, I'm quite interested in reading his work. Anyway, let's jump into the quotes. I didn't highlight too many things, I don't think, but you know, who knows? When she was mad, she wasn't joking. If assessed by a psychiatrist today, my father would, I suspect, be diagnosed with a personality disorder, an illness that went untreated for the duration of his life. The result was a childhood and adolescence dominated by hysteria and physical violence, threats, tears, and breaking glass. Somehow grasping at vanishing snowflakes is like grasping at happiness, an act of possession that instantly gives way to nothing. Ouch. We lay there wrapped in each other's arms. Kathy was facing me, her eyes so close that they were out of focus. I gazed into a hazy green sea. Well, she said. Well, what about Marianne? Marianne? A flicker of a smile. Your girlfriend? Oh, yes. Yes, I hesitated, unsure. I don't know about Marianne. And Daniel? Kathy rolled her eyes. Forget Daniel. I have. Have you really? Kathy responded by kissing me. Before Kathy left, she took a shower. While she was showering, I phoned Marianne. I wanted to arrange to see her, to tell her face to face. But she was annoyed about the previous night and insisted we have it out then and there on the phone. Marianne wasn't expecting me to break up with her, but that's what I did, as gently as I could. She started crying and became upset and angry. I hung up on her, brutal, yes, and unkind. I'm not proud of that phone call, but it seemed like the only honest action to take. I still don't know what I could have done differently. I felt an unfamiliar happiness just being in her company, as though a secret door had been opened, and Kathy had beckoned me across the threshold into a magical world of warmth and light and color, and hundreds of orchids and a dazzling confetti of blues and reds and yellows. I could feel myself thawing in the heat, softening around the edges, like a tortoise emerging into the sun after a long winter sleep, blinking and waking up. Kathy did that for me. She was my invitation to life, one I grasped with both hands. So this is it, I remember thinking. This is love. I never seemed to find that special connection I longed for. I believe I was too damaged, too incapable of intimacy. But now, every time I heard Kathy's contagious giggle, a wave of excitement ran through me, through a kind of osmosis. I absorbed her youthful exuberance, her unself-consciousness and joy. I said yes to her every suggestion and every whim. I didn't recognize myself. I liked this new person, this unafraid man Kathy inspired me to be. We fucked all the time. I was consumed with lust, perpetually, urgently hungry for her. I needed to keep touching her. I couldn't get close enough. My mother seemed more depressed than usual, quieter, smaller, somehow as if she weren't there. Dad was a heavier presence, unfriendly, glaring, unsmiling. He didn't take his cold, dark eyes off Kathy the entire time. It was an uncomfortable lunch. They didn't seem to like her, nor did they seem particularly happy for us. I don't know why I was surprised. We were married in April in a small registry office off of Houston Square. No parents invited and no God. Nothing religious at Kathy's insistence, but I said a secret prayer during the ceremony. I silently thanked him for giving me such unexpected, undeserved happiness. I saw things clearly now. I understood his greater purpose. God hadn't abandoned me during my childhood, when I had felt so alone and so scared. He had been keeping Kathy hidden up his sleeve, waiting to produce her like a deft magician. I felt such humility and gratitude for every second we spent together. I was aware how lucky, how incredibly fortunate I was to have such love, how rare it was, and how others weren't so lucky. Most of my patients weren't loved. Alicia Berenson wasn't. Alicia, by the way, is the lady who loses her husband. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. I think after that, I actually stopped highlighting. I just got into the book. So hopefully I read something that piqued your interest. Guys, I'm just gonna say 10 out of 5. Okay, that is how good this book was. It has been such a long time, and I know I've probably said this a few times, but this book, this ending was so unpredictable. Some may read it and be like, I knew it. No, I did not know it. And I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at context clues. I'm pretty good at putting 2 and 2 together. But this is one of those books where you really don't know until you absolutely know. And even when I was knowing, I think I was so frozen in shock. I'm like, is this what all of this was leading to? It was crazy. But definitely a 10 out of 5. I definitely recommend it to you guys. As usual, I will have links for the book, for the hard copy, Kindle version, as well as the audio book. I hope you guys read it and come back and tell me in the comments how you liked it as well. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Mary's Book Club, and I will see you next month. Bye-bye now.